In the raw. Our case guy free media, your friend, your brother, me, Haji. Dr. Ocean can in the raw. I have with me the Monday 9th, 2024 Guyana Times. And I'm listening with very keen interest the massive overhaul needed for insurance industry in Guyana. Well, coming to motor vehicle insurance, if you recall, several times I wrote letters in the media calling upon this 15,000, 20,000, and 25 insurance policy for vehicles on the road. Big trucks, anything you got, just a few $1,000, and you can roll. So legally insured. And 20,000, 15,000, 50,000, you can't even buy a lamp for a car, a trafficated lens, or a complete lamp, much less the demolishing of a vehicle. Then the insurance company will tell you you need to take them to court. And so on. So that's a hell of a bugbear. The lawyer alone would be hundreds of thousands of dollars. But somehow or the other, they're always late. Government is always late. When people like us come out with our ideas, they have a tendency of pushing it aside. One of the reasons I was told that when they're listening to me, it will affect people and affect their money situation, and they will want to cause the government to suffer by not voting for them. And this is one of the troubles generally with all political parties. I therefore wish to say I'm happy to learn that massive overhaul needed for the Guyana, for insurance industry in Guyana, Vice President Dr. Jagdeo, former President, Excellency Jagdeo, anticipates legislative upgrades to complement other financial reforms. Very happy to hear this, VP Jagdeo, through your President Dr. Irfan Ali's government and the partnership that exists with your cabinet and so on. Guyana's insurance industry is one that is ripe for upgrades, with Vice President Jagdeo acknowledging that there is much that needs improvement in the insurance industry, such as better compensation for drivers who get into accidents, improvements that are becoming ever more necessary as Guyana's economy continues to grow. But Mr. Jagdeo, it's not only the drivers, it is the owners who are usually mean, and they don't want to extend their insurances or pay more, but they'll pay the basic minimum. And if they have an accident, they probably will blame the driver and try to settle it privately. This is a big problem. Now, during the recent press conference, Jagdeo noted that the government is open to exploring ways of improving the insurance landscape, and further, insurance sector legislation is likely in the future. Well, I'm very happy to hear this. He compared the insurance sector to the financial one, noting that while it has grown significantly, there is still much room for improvement. So too with the insurance sector, that has to be upgraded significantly. So the depth of the insurance industry, depth. Like with our banking system, they are still too shallow. Very good. And talking about the banking industry, Mr. President, former President and VP Jagdeo, something seriously needs to be done about this difficulty in opening up an account. A child has a problem opening up an account. You send a little bit of money, you transfer some money overseas for a little purchase. You got to go through all kind of rigmarole. And so, with this in mind, I'm asking and appealing that system has to be upgraded. In the United States, you don't need all that nonsense, all those questions. You deposit a little bit of money, the questions you ask. When you deal with cash over $10,000, you go deposit that, you have to ask questions. Anything below that, you don't have to. But why is it this kind of a thing? Why is it the American system and the international system has to pressure our government and us for that? That's a matter for another day. I probably will join Freddie Kissoon on that. They are still too shallow. The financial sector has grown significantly. When you look at the asset base, it cannot service a 20 billion economy in a manner that will be permissive of its rapid growth. They don't have the assets and instruments because many of the instruments are dated and not modern enough. I think that word should be outdated. I think so. For example, vehicles, if you get into an accident, now the compensation is very small. But if we raise the compensation level, they would raise premiums. So every person, so sometimes things have unintended consequences, but you do have to explore them as the economy gets larger, but you have to pace yourself, Jagdeo. You said, but the pace has been too long and too slow, Mr. Jagdeo. A little hit on your car is 100,000. 20,000 is nothing. 15,000 is nothing to fulfill the legal obligations. The Vice President also noted that changes to the laws governing insurance would be part and parcel of the government's effort to improve the fiscal space and create a more enabling environment, something the People's Progressive Party civic government has already made progress in. Now, so this is very important. We have got to move up, and you can't move too slow. It is time. These big trucks, they need a $30 million insurance policy. That doesn't mean they have to pay $30 million. They will pay a couple $100,000, but they need that. Nothing with less than $30 million insurance policy to cover lives and vehicles and peoples. For example, vehicles, if you get in an accident, okay, finish with that. I repeat, and this is in the raw. Arcane's kind of free media. And your friend, your brother, me, Haji, Dr. Roshan can in the raw. All of the changes that are being made to create a more enabling environment that often slip past many people, they don't notice the changes, but they're very profound. So if you look, for example, at the Condominium Act, that act in itself would allow a massive growth of what is already happening, people building condos for sale. And these are all opportunities that grew out of the local content law. When we prohibited the oil and gas companies from renting from foreigners, so just that example, then for example, the Data Privacy Act, now that could help with developing a whole range of services that are needed in the country, but where they have to be regulated for privacy purposes and protection of the citizens, the Vice President said. Jagdeo also recalled the government's tabling of the Security Interest and Movable Property Bill last month. This bill had introduced a national registry to record security interests in order to allow banks and other creditors to verify whether the immovable asset being offered had been previously pledged as collateral. So some people pledge the property as collateral and they go and sell it. And these are good things. So people can get loans now on something that is movable. A vehicle, for example, they can use it as collateral. They can maybe take small loans out of the vehicles. All of that is good. But you got compensation of people and their vehicles when they are damaged or killed, Mr. President. Huge insurances. In the past, the banks would insist on fixed assets. So it is that sort of growth that will happen in the future. Thank you. Excellency President Dr. Irfan Ali and former President Excellency Dr. Barra Jagdeo. The private sector has been vocal about the need for access to finance to be addressed, at one point calling out continued bureaucracy at commercial banks hindering access to financing. The PPPC has consistently urged the banking industry to be more proactive. As a matter of fact, one of the strategies being pursued by the government to address access to finance, which has been a long-standing challenge in Guyana for entrepreneurs, include efforts to attract a larger international bank to Guyana's shores. That is a good thing. But we brought in what? Republic Bank, and it's more of a headache than anything. Republic Bank is more of a headache than anything on the face of the earth. During the recent Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association 29th Annual Awards and Dinner, Jagdeo had in fact assured that the government is actively exploring the re-establishment of a development bank in Guyana. I think they had under Bob Burnham time the Agricultural Development Bank, and that was a good thing. So you need a development bank. And why Agricultural Development Bank? Everything is agriculture. You want a truck, it has to do with agriculture. You want a lorry, you want transportation, you want transport wood. Everything basically is agriculture. Sun come from the earth, so it's agriculture. Your friend, your brother, me, Haji, Dr. Ocean Can in there. Yes. Say thank you. Farewell.